Hello everyone, I'm Brett McGowan, writer-creator of Changeling Urban Fairy Tale, and head of PR and community outreach over at the Mythoverse. Now last week in this series we looked at changelings, which, as I said, are one of the most popular myths out of the British Isles. Now we're going to look at another one that is also popular. We are going to take a look at the Wailing Woman. We are taking a look at Banshees. Now the question that needs to be answered out of the gate is a Banshee a ghost, or is a Banshee a fairy? And the answer is kind of both and neither. While Banshees are definitely ghost-like, they're also kind of lumped in with fairies, and to be honest, fae is more or less sort of a catch-all term used to describe any kind of supernatural creature out of the British Isles. So just for the sake of simplicity, we'll keep the Banshee firmly under the fae umbrella. Now, a Banshee, as most people understand it, is a ghostly woman that is known for its iconic scream. Now, typically, the appearance that a Banshee will take will kind of be one of three: a young woman, a stately matron, or an old hag. Maiden, mother, crone. I think that this was something that got carried over from the Morrigan, the Celtic goddess of war, fate, and death, who herself is depicted in that manner. Now, other things that can go into a Banshee's appearance is long, white, flowing hair, or even silver, pale skin, a corpse-like visage, red eyes because Banshees are always crying for the dead. And there's even one version that is headless, carries a bowl of blood, and is naked from the waist up. Don't look at me, I don't write this stuff. Now, as far as ancient tradition goes, Banshees were said to have given watch over 5 great families of Ireland: the O'Neills, the O'Briens, the O'Connors, the O'Grady's, and the Kavanaghs. And they were said to watch over these families for all time, even if they found themselves reduced in status. And in fact, pretty much all of the old families of Ireland, they're associated with Banshees to one degree or another. One thing that is consistent with Banshees across all their appearances is that they are associated with death. If you hear a Banshee scream, cry, wail, it means your death is imminent, and sometimes you don't even need to hear the Banshee. If you come across a woman that is washing clothes or armor covered in blood, that's an omen that your death is imminent. Now, while it's not uncommon for Banshees to be cast in the role of antagonists in stories they're featured in, it's not always true. There are some Banshees that still have strong ties to their family emotionally, and so they sort of linger, and instead of screaming and wailing, they sing a more sorrowful song that is filled with love for their family. In fact, this actually dovetails into a Scottish variant of the Banshee known as a quenach, which literally means weeper. And it is said when you hear a quenach crying, it means a great tragedy is coming. In fact, one such real-life example involves the MacDonalds of Glencoe. It is said that in the weeks leading up to what would be the massacre of their clan, they could hear a woman crying in the night. Now, Banshees that are evil, they aren't just evil, they are vengeful too. They had strong, burning hatred for their families for a wrong they had done them in life. And so they come back not just to haunt them, they come back to torment them, and they take sadistic pleasure to them. They will rip them to shreds or scream at them until they go insane and commit suicide. Now, the real-life inspiration for where Banshees came from is traced back to an 8th century tradition known as keeners, a group of women that would show up at funerals and sing sorrowful songs for the dead. And these women, they took their payment for these songs in alcohol. And because of this, they were branded as sinners that were doomed to become Banshees after death. Now, as for the iconic screaming, there's actually several theories that are attributed to it, but I have 2 that I'm particularly fond of. First one comes from Scottish YouTuber Count Dankula. He is of the opinion that it's people mistaking a fox's yelping for a Banshee scream. The second one comes from my colleague over at the Mythoverse, Peter Niederbrock, and he thinks it's actually barn owls. Now, when I say that this was one of the most widespread legends in the British Isles, that's not an exaggeration. It was so widespread that King James I of Scotland was said to have encountered one during his reign. So it's probably not going to surprise you guys a whole lot to find out that banshees have more than a few appearances in pop culture. They include, but are not limited to, an appearance in the Disney film Darby O'Gill and the Little People, episodes of TV shows like The Real Ghostbusters, Gargoyles, Charmed, Teen Wolf, and Supernatural. It's the namesake for the English punk band Susie and the Banshees. A character from X-Men is named after the Banshee. We also have Silver Banshee, a DC Comics supervillain, and the Banshee, the world's longest inverted roller coaster located at Kings Island in Mason, Ohio. So, if you're wandering around at night and you hear a woman screaming, well, I hope your affairs are in order because it means your death is at hand, because you just heard the Banshees cry. Did you like the video? Leave a comment below, hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you want more, hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss an upload. If you want to support the Mythoverse, two best places to do it are our Patreon or buying our comics directly off our website. Either helps. And with all that, we'll see all you mythomaniacs next time.